Okay, we're gonna start all over. Shit, we wasted half the film by not touching the record button. But I want to tell y'all a story about me. I'm the kind of guy that likes talking to older people. I just, you know, that, more people ought to do that. Young men ought to talk to older people. You get a lot of knowledge transferred that way. Well, my story goes all the way back, a couple years anyway. And I never did get remarried. I was married there for a while. And, I said to myself, I'll never get remarried again. I like living alone. And I had a neighbor named Ben Johnson, and he lived about 50 miles from me. And I made it a point going up to his house about every other month. And anyway, there wasn't no driveway to his house, so I couldn't drive. I had to walk a path up the hill. And it was about 50 miles. And I'd go up there and see Mr. Johnson. We'd sit on the sofa. He had made a sofa out of straw and tree limbs. And he made him a coffee table out of straw and tree limbs too. Very old-fashioned man. But I sat there and talked to him, and he said, son, I built every inch of this house by myself. I had an old crosscut saw, and I sawed the timbers, and I notched them out, and I'd go down to the creek there and make my mud and with some straw in it, dead grass and stuff. And made my own mortar and run it between the logs. Made the roof, and I even made my own fireplace over there. Yeah, my newest addition was a patio I built on the back end of the house. And of course you've seen my front porch with those lazy old coon dogs laying on it. And if you notice too, I got 3 cats in the house, and well, most of the time they stay over there by the fireplace because they're cold-natured cats, and they like to stay nice and cozy and stuff. But my problem, Danny, is I've got this mean-ass squirrel. I mean, this squirrel is from hell. And what I do is I put a bowl of walnuts up on this coffee table, and I want you to watch what this little bastard does. Well, we're sitting back, and I'm sitting there looking at those walnuts in that basket, right? Well, that little son of a bitch, it wasn't 5 minutes, and I seen something scurrying up through the hallway, bushing tail and stuff, and chirping like a bird. And there's that little squirrel. And he jumped up on that coffee table, and reached in that basket and got him a big old walnut out. Grabbed it, jumped off the coffee table, and went into the kitchen under the kitchen table. And you could hear him in there crunching it and getting all the stuff out of it, all the goodies out of the nut. And then he would sit there and just look around. And then the little bastard do it again. He'd run back in there and jump on the coffee table and get him another walnut. Well, that went on for about, I don't know, about an hour, I guess. It was getting kind of irritable. I was watching that squirrel. The squirrel wasn't very friendly either. Try to pet him, he tried biting you. And I think he had a wobble, too, in his neck. But anyway, he's okay. I think it was just walnuts built up in his neck thing there, And it wasn't a wobble, it was walnuts, seeds and stuff. But anyway, he wasn't very friendly squirrel at all. I mean, I couldn't pet him. I said, Mr. Johnson, what's wrong with your squirrel? And he said, he's just an obnoxious little bastard. Squirrel's all. He come in here just as a little chipmunk, and look how big he's done got. He was pretty big. He's about the size of a turkey. And that was the biggest squirrel I'd ever seen. And anyway, I told him, I said, well, you ought to put him in a carnival or something. You'd make money. Take him to farmer's market, and show him off. And show him for a quarter or something. Mr. Johnson said, Danny, you might have an idea there. I don't get out very often. I'm like you. I'm a single man. I don't want no woman. I like doing what I want to do. I occasionally go downtown. It's a 60-mile hike, but I go down there and they got a saloon down there. And I grab me one of those prostitute women, and Anyway, that's all I need. Once every 6 months, I transverse down there into the village and get one of those ugly-ass women. But getting back to the point, you know, the Johnsons were well known for their moonshine up there on this bridge. And my great-grandpa used to make the best moonshine your lips will ever have tasted. He said it was so good. And we used to sell it for 50 cents a quart. Yeah, 50 cents. Look at, now, go liquor store and look at a quart of moonshine and see what you paid for it. But we was getting 50 cents and we was getting rich. I mean, we didn't have nothing no way, and 50 cents come in handy. If we just sold one jar, we had enough to get some bologna and bread. You know, have fried bologna sandwiches with mustard on them or something. But anyway, the point is I'm getting to there, Danny. I've never met many men like you. And I think I can call you a friend. A true, downhearted friend. Because you're so nice to get along with. And I enjoy talking to you, too. So what I'm going to do, for years now, in that little fridge in there, by the table with the squirrel under it, in the back of that refrigerator, way back in the back, behind the eggs and the butter and the milk and stuff, there's a quart of that moonshine from 1909. The same moonshine my grandpa made. Granny was into it too. I'm not supposed to say that because she went to penitentiary for making it. But anyway, I'm going to break that out and get some shot glasses. And we're going to sit at the table and we're going to drink that moonshine. I said, really? And he said, yeah. He said, I'm going to get it right now. Come on in the kitchen. So me and both of them, Meg, we wobbled into the kitchen table. I sat down there and he said, be careful now. He said, that damn squirrel likes to bite your feet. So I said, okay. And sure enough, that squirrel went after my feet and I kicked him with my boot. He didn't come back. I think I got him pretty good in the head or something. But anyway, we sat there and he said, reach over in that refrigerator and get that out. And I got it out and we sat on the middle of the table and he had taken a cloth and put over the lid, underneath the lid where it goes down on a jar, these quart jars, old mason jar. Had a zinc lid on it and stuff, you know. And he took that lid off. And he pulled that piece of cloth off. And I tell you what, that whole kitchen had the aroma of being like in an apple orchard. Ooh, it smelled so good. So he got these 2 shot glasses down. He said, I'll pour her something good. And he gave me a shot of it, and he took a shot of it. I didn't drink mine down in one gulp. I wanted to sip on mine. I wanted to sip out on moonshine. And you know what? That was the best moonshine I ever drank in my whole life. Sure enough. I said, Mr. Johnson, you still got the recipe for this? He said, I think it's down there in the bank in the safe deposit box. My grandpa had it. Because he didn't want nobody stealing the recipe. I said, sir, you might as well get that recipe and start making this shit, man. I'll sell it for you. We'll make some money. He said, I'm not too crazy about making money. I get a little check every month, enough for me and the dog and cats. And that damn squirrel. Squirrel really don't cost me nothing because I pick up the nuts out there from a walnut orchard out there at walnut trees and stuff. So he don't cost me nothing. But, you know, I think what I will do, though, is we'll just sit here and have another shot of this stuff. So we sat there, and we sat there, and we sat there, and drank that whole quart of moonshine. And boy, it was so damn good, man. And I even licked the jar. I said, this is so good, I gotta just lick the lid. He said, go ahead there, Dan, do whatever you gotta do, man. He said, but that's the last of the last. And I said, well, not necessarily, Mr. Johnson. You have the recipe down in the bank vault in a safe deposit box. We should go down there and get it, and we'll start making it again. It won't be the same. It won't be the same as Grandpa's moonshine. It won't be the same. I know it won't. I guess we can maybe try it maybe this summer when the apples are out and stuff, you know. Gotta watch out for those damn yellow jackets, though. Those little son bitches hurt, man, when they sting you. And they like to lay around those rotted apples. And that's what I make that moonshine out of when we was kids, was rotted apples. We'd take yellow apples and red ones and just all kinds of apples. We didn't make moonshine like they did back some years and years and years ago. Potato peelings and corn cobs and stuff like that. We made good, sweet apple moonshine. Well, you don't have to tell me that, Mr. Johnson. I just helped you drink half a quart of that. Oh, he said, oh, I know. I forgot. I forgot. You get a little age on you, Dan. You start remembering things and forgetting, too. I said, what? That don't sound right. Remembering things and forgetting, too? I said, well, you gotta look the old man, you know, a little bit there. Let's get back in here and sit down in this nice straw sofa I made. So we were both, we both wallered back to the living room. There in the corner was an old black and white Zenith portable TV with rabbit ears all the time. And there wasn't no rabbit around. These were metal ears. We called them rabbit ears back then. And he turned it on, and it was CNN. Breaking news about the President of the United States, impeachment proceedings and stuff. And I said, Mr. Johnson, I'm not into that. I'm not into that stuff. It's most of it's just nonsense anyway. But you know, from that day on, I always remember what he said. He said, politics is like a woman. They can run their mouth as much as they want. But the words that come out of that mouth, half of them ain't even true. That's why I ain't married now, Dan. I never did want another woman. Like I said, I just go down to the 75-mile away town and get me a little piece every now and then. We'll make this, we'll continue this recording here in just a little bit. Me and Mr. Johnson's going to sit here and watch this squirrel, see if this squirrel's getting his nerve up again and steal some more nuts. So we'll see you there in a little bit.